Have you ever felt a deep sense of loneliness, even when, you're surrounded by people who seem to care about you?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe found yourself wondering why you feel guilty for being unhappy, even when outwardly it looks like you have everything you could want.
Yeah, that disconnect.
Exactly. Today, we're really doing a deep dive into the profound impact of emotionally immature parents and the journey to healing and self-discovery that follows.
It's a complex path.
It really is.
Yeah.
We've been digging through some powerful sources like Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents and also various texts on inner child work and archetypal psychology.
Right. And our mission here really is to distill how these childhood dynamics subtly, often invisibly, shape our adult lives.
Shape us.
Exactly. And crucially, we want to give you a kind of roadmap, not just to recognize these patterns, but, to reclaim your emotional truth.
Connect with that authentic self.
Precisely. That authentic self you might feel was buried somewhere. And look, this isn't about blaming parents.
No, not at all.
It's about understanding the deep currents, what makes us tick. And, well, as one source puts it beautifully, how to live more on the basis of your genuine thoughts and feelings rather than outdated family patterns.
Escaping those patterns.
It's about setting yourself free, really.
Okay, so let's unpack this right from the start. When we talk about emotionally immature parents, what are we actually looking at? What are the core behaviors?
Yeah, what's the common thread?
Right. And how do those behaviors ripple through a child's life all the way into adulthood?
Well, at their core, these parents are often described as egocentric and self-preoccupied.
Okay.
Think of it like this. Their emotional world often revolves around their needs, their anxieties, their insecurities, rather than, say, genuine, outward-looking joy.
Focused inward.
Very much. They tend to lack what's called resonant empathy.
Resonant empathy.
Yeah. Imagine someone who struggles to really step into your shoes to understand what you're feeling, not necessarily because they don't care, but because they haven't developed that emotional self-awareness within themselves. It's like trying to see clearly through a window that's always a bit fogged up on their side,
That's a great analogy.
And a classic example from the sources is a mother who, after her daughter bravely expressed feeling hurt by something she said,
Yeah?
the mother responded with, "Well, if I couldn't tell you, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to."
Wow. So her need to vent just overshadowed the daughter's pain.
Completely eclipsed it. And this creates a pervasive emotional loneliness for children growing up in that environment.
Emotional loneliness. That sounds heavy.
It is. And to cope, these children often learn to put other people's needs first as the price of admission to a relationship.
The price of admission.
Yeah. They essentially become the helpers, often convincing themselves and others too that they have few emotional needs of their own.
Like a survival strategy.
Exactly. But it inadvertently deepens that initial loneliness because it prevents the very genuine connection they actually crave.
That's a powerful image, consistently putting others first just to feel accepted. It makes me wonder, how does that coping mechanism, born in childhood, actually show up in our daily lives as adults?
Oh, it shows up.
What are some concrete ways this manifests?
Well, it manifests in so many subtle yet profound ways. Consider Sophie from the text, who realized in therapy that her relationship with an emotionally insensitive partner perfectly mirrored the emotional loneliness she felt as a child. It was like she re-entered that same dynamic.
Right, recreating the past.
Exactly. Or Natalie, who, despite having a wonderful marriage, successful kids, a good life, she remained vulnerable to anxieties about being alone and unsupported.
Even with all that.
Even with all that. Until she truly understood her mother's impact. And our sources highlight this common pattern. These individuals are often highly competent, successful in other areas of life.
Which makes it harder.
Ironically, yes, it makes it hard for them to take their own pain seriously. They're the ones who might say, look, I have it all. Why do I feel so miserable? They were often physically cared for, maybe even materially provided for.
But the emotional piece was missing.
Exactly. Their emotional well-being was overlooked, leaving this kind of void.
So it really sounds like many of us might be carrying an invisible backpack from childhood, doesn't it? Filled with these unaddressed needs or coping strategies.
That's a perfect way to put it, an invisible backpack. And often those immediate, sometimes, inexplicable emotional reactions you feel as an adult.
Yeah.
They're echoes from past experiences, like that inexplicable anxiety some feel when a partner is slightly annoyed with them.
Oh, I know people like that.
Right. It could very well stem from a childhood where even minor irritations from a caregiver led to significant emotional consequences, like withdrawal or anger.
So the stakes felt really high.
Precisely. And research, like studies published in child development, strongly supports this. It shows how adverse childhood experiences can notably shape adult behaviors. Things like anxiety, avoidance, even our fundamental attachment styles in relationships.
It really underscores how our past is always present, kind of informing our reactions now.
It absolutely does. It's not just in the past.
It's fascinating how our individual temperaments then shape how we carry that invisible backpack. Which brings us to a crucial distinction the sources explore: internalizers versus externalizers.
Yes.
Can you walk us through what these mean and why understanding which one you might lean towards is so important?
It really is a crucial lens for self-understanding. So internalizers are typically described as highly sensitive individuals.
Okay.
They tend to believe that solutions start on the inside. They're the ones who often worry about the future, maybe overestimate difficulty sometimes.
Right.
And they are deeply affected by growing up with emotionally immature parents. They feel that painful loneliness acutely,
They really feel it.
deeply. And they might suppress natural behaviors like enthusiasm or even expressing anger because they learned early on that goodness meant being self-effacing.
Putting the parents' needs first.
Always. Which teaches them that their own feelings are, well, unimportant at best and shameful at worst.
Oh, that's Russ.
It is. Think of Carolyn in the book who had this aha moment. My family role was a fiction.
Wow.
She said, I've realized I'm not a big character in someone else's novel. I can step off the page. She realized she'd been playing a part.
Stepping off the page, I like that.
Yeah. Now contrast that with externalizers. They tend to expel stress as soon as it hits,
How so?
often by blaming others or maybe constantly looking for an external power source to plug into someone else, something else to fix their discomfort.
So they push it outwards.
Exactly. They don't typically internalize the pain or self-doubt in the same way as internalizers. Both are coping mechanisms, of course, but they manifest very differently.
It makes sense that many of us, especially internalizers, might have built something the sources call a super self to navigate these dynamics.
The super self.
What exactly is this super self, and why is letting go of it so crucial for healing?
The super self is this idealized version of ourselves, almost a myth we create in childhood.
A myth.
Yeah, where we convince ourselves we can do everything perfectly, maybe to earn love or just feel safe.
The perfectionist trap.
Totally. The problem is, as adults, we can never truly live up to these impossible, self-imposed standards. Yet we get caught in the trap of comparing ourselves to this imaginary version.
It sounds exhausting.
It is exhausting, and this often ties directly into what are called healing fantasies.
Healing fantasies. Okay.
These are the unconscious fantasies we hold about how other people should change or how circumstances must unfold to finally make us feel valued or okay.
Like if only they would.
Precisely. Like the woman mentioned who believed if she could just make her depressed father happy, then she'd finally be free. Or another who thought she could earn her husband's love by doing absolutely everything he wanted.
Waiting for the outside world to change.
Exactly. These fantasies keep us stuck. They prevent us from engaging with reality as it is and from tapping into our own internal power to make changes within ourselves.
This deep dive goes beyond just psychology, though, right? It ventures into the profound wisdom of archetypal stories and myths.
It absolutely does.
So what is this wildish nature or wild woman concept that comes up? Why is reconnecting with it so essential for our well-being, for healing?
The wildish nature. It's described so powerfully as the innate spiritual being at the center of feminine psychology, essentially the very source of the feminine.
The source.
Yeah, it's all that is of instinct of the worlds both seen and hidden. Think of it as your primal intuition, your gut feeling.
That inner knowing.
Yes, your farseer, deep listener, loyal heart, and the maker of cycles in your life. It's that untamed, authentic self that just knows what it needs. And when this connection gets disrupted, maybe when we're forced to be too good or too small to fit in,
Right.
people can feel, well, the descriptions are vivid. Extraordinarily dry, fatigued, frail, depressed, confused, gagged, muzzled, unaroused.
Like something vital has been shut down.
Exactly, like your internal wellspring has just dried up.
That's such a powerful image, this lost wildness. The sources use these ancient myths and fairy tales as incredible teaching tools, don't they?
They really do.
To help us understand this journey back, let's really lean into a couple of those. Which stories truly resonate with these core themes of healing and reclaiming our instinctual wisdom?
Absolutely. They're not just kids' stories. They are profound maps of the psyche. Let's start with La Loba. the wolf woman.
Loba.
She's this mythic figure who collects and preserves especially that which is in danger of being lost to the world. Old wisdom, lost instincts.
He gathers the bones.
Exactly. She gathers the bones, and then she sings over the bones, and as she sings, the bones flesh out. What's fascinating here is how this symbolizes our own internal power. The power to find those lost, neglected, or, bona fide parts of ourselves.
Our suppressed joy, maybe? Or anger?
Could be anything. Joy, anger, creativity, passion. And then to sing them back to vitality, it's about recovering your own indestructible life force.
I love that idea of singing ourselves back to life. It sounds like such a powerful act of reclaiming agency.
It really is.
What about a story that speaks more to the dangers of losing that vitality? The flip side.
That brings us right to the Red Shoes, a classic cautionary tale.
Oh, yes.
It warns against losing a woman's self-designed life and passionate vitality by allowing oneself to be forced into a too tame life.
The handmade shoes?
Exactly.
Yep.
The child in the story finds enormous joy in her handmade red shoes. They're a symbol of her unique creative spirit, her wildness maybe.
Right.
But then an old woman figure, representing maybe societal expectations or internalized harshness, makes her burn them. Yeah. It symbolizes surrendering that creative joy, that wildness, to a cremating fire of conformity. And we see echoes of this in real life. One source mentions Janis Joplin as an example of an instinct-injured woman who, once she was finally freed, was perhaps so starved she could no longer tell when enough was enough, consuming life with this huge intensity.
Maybe compensated for years of being stifled.
Perhaps. It's a vivid warning about what can happen when we abandon our true desires, our core self.
That makes so much sense. It's like when our wildness is denied, it doesn't just vanish. It can kind of erupt in different, sometimes destructive ways later on.
Exactly. It seeks expression somehow.
Are there other tales that offer guidance for those who feel like outsiders or maybe have experienced profound loss on this journey?
Definitely. The Ugly Duckling is profoundly relevant here.
A childhood favorite for many.
Right. But it speaks to that deep instinct to rove until one finds what one needs, even when, or especially when, you feel like an outsider.
Which many children of emotionally immature parents feel.
Precisely. They often feel they don't quite fit in their own families. And the story highlights the ambivalent mother figure, the one who maybe bends to community pressures rather than truly championing her unique child.
The pressure to conform.
Yeah. And what's also fascinating is the observation that exiled individuals often don't realize for a time that people's looks have ceased to be disparaging and are more often neutral when they are not admiring and approving.
So you still feel like the outsider, even when you're not anymore.
Exactly. It shows how deeply ingrained that self-perception can become. You can be surrounded by your own kind, your swans, and still carry those old wounds of being different until you consciously work through them.
That's powerful. What else?
And then there's the Handless Maiden. A tougher story, perhaps.
Seems tense.
It is. It reveals the initiation that none of us wants, even though it is the one all of us sooner or later receive. It's about enduring suffering and profound loss.
Like the cutting off of hands.
Right, which symbolically represents losing your ability to create, to act, to connect with the outer world in the ways you used to, your agency.
Okay.
But paradoxically, this very suffering can lead to a deeper consciousness and shrewdness, even though entering this underworld of pain is terrifying.
It's where transformation happens.
Exactly. It's precisely where profound transformation occurs. It's where the unconscious, the deep self, bestows a kiss of itself upon her lips, offering intuitive wisdom right when you feel most stripped bare, most helpless.
So even in the darkest moments.
There's a profound inner resource waiting to be discovered. It teaches that loss can carve out space for deeper knowing.
Wow. Okay, so these stories aren't just fables. They're really like ancient guides for navigating the deep currents of our own lives, especially when healing from past wounds.
That's exactly how they're presented. Powerful maps for the soul's journey.
That's a profound shift in perspective.
Absolutely. And, with that groundwork laid, let's turn our attention now to the more actionable pathways. How do we heal? How do we practice self-parenting in adulthood?
Yes, the practical steps.
One of the most freeing insights, truly a game changer for many, comes from what the sources call the maturity awareness approach.
Maturity awareness approach.
The core insight is realizing that their neglect wasn't about us, but about them.
Detaching your worth from their behavior.
Precisely. This shift isn't just a mental trick. It's the key to unlocking yourself from potentially a lifetime of self-doubt and finally accepting your inherent worth. When you truly get that their limitations were theirs, not a reflection of your lovability,
Then you get free.
you gain freedom.
Mm.
Freedom from frustration with them, as well as our doubts about our own lovability. It's huge.
That sounds incredibly liberating, but how do we put that insight into practice? What's like the first step in applying this maturity awareness approach day to day?
A really key practice is becoming observational.
Becoming observational.
Yeah. This means consciously shifting perspective, moving from that knee-jerk emotional reactivity to a more calm thinking perspective.
Stepping back.
Stepping back, observing the dynamic. Think of Annie in the book, learning to manage interactions with her mother, Betty.
Right.
Instead of constantly seeking that emotional intimacy or approval she never got, she learned to manage her expectations deliberately.
How did she put it?
She summed it up beautifully. I'm finally figuring out that this is who my mother is. This is her personality. It's not about me.
It's not about me.
I'm proud that I'm able to separate her behavior from my sense of worth. That separation is key.
So it's not about giving up on connection entirely, maybe, but protecting your inner self.
Exactly. Protecting your inner self and choosing how you engage based on reality, not fantasy.
I imagine a big part of that protection involves dealing with those ingrained negative thoughts, right? The ones that often echo from childhood.
Oh, absolutely.
What about those internalized parental voices that so many of us carry around? The inner critic.
Yes, those critical or sometimes contemptuous inner commentaries, those internalized parental voices. The crucial goal here is to actively interrupt these voices in the act of making you feel bad.
Catch them in the act.
Catch them in the act and create a clear separation in your mind. Their old evaluations, their judgments are not your self-worth. Not now.
It takes practice, I bet.
It absolutely takes practice, conscious effort, but it's incredibly powerful when you start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly where practical self-compassion becomes such a vital tool.
Self-compassion.
Yes. One simple yet profound exercise suggested is the compassion break.
Okay, how does that work?
When you feel overwhelmed or that inner critic flares up, you just pause. First, acknowledge, this is a moment of suffering. Just name it.
Okay.
Then remind yourself gently, suffering is a part of life. It connects you to shared humanity. You're not alone in feeling this way.
Right, it normalizes it.
Exactly. And finally, offer yourself kindness. May I be kind to myself in this moment. It's like a little moment of gentle self-reparenting right when you need it.
That sounds really doable.
It is. And another beautiful suggestion is keeping a photo of your younger self nearby, maybe on your desk or phone.
Your childhood self.
Yeah, as a daily reminder to offer that little you the comfort, the understanding, maybe the protection you once desperately needed and didn't get.
Connecting with that part of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Offering it compassion now.
That's such a gentle and practical approach. Now, the sources also talk about managing really powerful emotions, particularly rage.
Yes, rage comes up.
For many people, rage feels dangerous, destructive. How can that possibly be a path to healing?
It's a really important question because rage, when it's understood and approached consciously, can actually be a transformative effort.
Transformative, how?
It's seen as a substance waiting for our transformative efforts. It holds energy, information, but untransformed rage. It's different. Untransformed rage can become that constant mantra about how oppressed, hurt, and tortured we were. It can keep us stuck, even confine access to the collective unconscious. Meaning it locks us in a narrow, victimized view of ourselves and the world.
So what's the alternative?
The radical advice really is to ask rage to take a seat with us, have some tea, talk a while so we can find out what summoned this visitor.
Sit down with your rage.
Metaphorically, yes. Get curious about it. It's likened to climbing the mountain, a quest for true knowledge about the rage. Not about destroying with it, but about understanding its roots. What boundary was crossed? What need is screaming to be heard?
What is it trying to tell you?
Exactly.
Closely related to this deep inner work, I imagine, is forgiveness.
Forgiveness is key.
How do the sources talk about forgiveness? It's often misunderstood.
It really is. It's described not just as letting go, but as the culmination of all foregoing, forbearing, and forgetting. It's the endpoint of a lot of inner work.
So it's not about condoning bad behavior.
Absolutely not. It's not about saying what happened was okay or letting someone off the hook. Instead, it's presented as an act of creation.
An act of creation.
Yeah, and a conscious decision to cease coldness, both towards others and maybe towards parts of yourself. It's a profound personal liberation, freeing up your own energy.
That's a different frame.
And the wisdom here offers reassurance. Nothing that a human may have done, is doing, or might do is outside the bounds of forgiveness. And that includes forgiving ourselves, which is often the hardest part.
Self-forgiveness. And sometimes the heaviest burdens we carry aren't just anger, but maybe shameful secret.
Yes, shame is incredibly powerful.
How do those play into our healing or maybe block it?
They're absolutely vital to address. Keeping shameful secrets locked inside can, according to the sources, effectively shut down all other parts of the unconscious.
Shut things down.
Yeah, it constricts your inner life and causes enormous amounts of self-blame and self-torture. Bringing them into the light, maybe with a trusted therapist, a safe friend, even just journaling, honestly, is a powerful act of integration and self-acceptance, reclaiming those parts.
Letting the light in.
Exactly.
So once we start doing this internal healing work, observing ourselves, offering compassion, working with difficult emotions, addressing shame, how does that translate into cultivating healthier relationships moving forward? What should we be looking for?
That's the goal, right? Healthier connection. A key indicator is connecting with people who are emotionally mature.
Okay, what does that look like?
Well, our sources highlight that emotionally mature people tend to see you positively. They keep a mental library of your best qualities.
They see the good in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
They foster an environment where you feel that you can be completely yourself. There isn't that constant need to perform or hide parts of yourself.
That sounds amazing.
The emphasis shifts to mutual emotional responsiveness. Both people are tuned in, and clear, intimate communication. And a really crucial takeaway here is realizing that caring about me doesn't mean they automatically know what I'm feeling.
So no mind reading.
No mind reading. You have to learn to articulate your needs clearly. Ask for what you need directly. This is a huge shift, especially for those internalizers used to putting others first and assuming their needs don't matter or shouldn't be voiced.
Learning to ask. That takes courage.
It really does. Another often overlooked aspect of this self-parenting, self-healing journey is learning to listen to your body.
The body's wisdom.
Profound wisdom. Our sources talk about the body as a powerful and holy being that informs the soul, helps it adapt to mundane life. Think of Lena's story in one text, who ignored her body's fatigue cues for years, just pushed through.
Many of us do that.
So many. When we start tuning into those subtle signals, tiredness, tension, hunger, even small aches and pains, we begin to treat our bodies with the respect and care we might have needed as children but didn't receive. It's constantly communicating.
Constantly communicating needs you might have learned to ignore. Listening is a form of self-care. And finally, the concept of home itself gets beautifully reframed in this work.
Not just a physical place.
No. It's described as an internal place, a place somewhere in time rather than space, where a woman feels of one piece, whole, integrated.
It's an inner sanctuary.
Exactly. And it's accessible through solitude, through consciously focusing on what revivifies balance within you, whatever brings you back to yourself.
Finding that internal home.
Regardless of your external circumstances, it's always there to return to.
What a journey we've taken today, seriously. We've explored the really intricate impact of emotional immaturity, navigated the landscape of our inner child, and rediscovered those wild energies within us through that powerful ancient wisdom.
It's deep territory. And remember, as we heard, the work is to keep doing the work. It's not a one-and-done thing.
Whether it's tending to your inner child, understanding your family dynamics more deeply, re-engaging with your wild self, setting those healthy boundaries, greater awareness brings its own gifts.
What kind of gifts?
Most involve a fuller, deeper connection with the world and oneself. It's a continuous unfolding process of becoming more whole.
And the path to freedom, it sounds like, isn't about achieving some kind of perfect state, is it?
Not at all. It's more about being active and self-expressive in your relationships, learning to treat yourself kindly, consistently.
And expecting to be heard.
And expecting to be heard by others, embodying your truth day by day. So as you go about your day, maybe here's a thought to carry with you, something to really mull over.
Okay, leave us with something.
What single secret, maybe something you carry shame around, are you ready to bring into the light? Perhaps just by acknowledging it fully to yourself, or maybe sharing it with someone truly safe. And what wild act of self-nurturing will you commit to this week? Something just for you, to start singing your true self back to full, vibrant life.
Singing yourself back to life. I love that. We truly hope this deep dive has given you some powerful new insights and maybe a renewed sense of possibility for your own remarkable journey.